fights getting even more intense and intense every Fairy Tail episode. And I gotta say, yo, I gotta fucking love that design so much in Manga. It's so cool and I love it too much. He looks like he's from fucking Berserk or something like that. I gotta say, he looks like that. That's just how much I love that design, and let's just talk about that chapter right now. So apologies for not doing last week's episode. My bad. A lot of shit went on that night. I couldn't do the episode. I apologize. I did see glances of it and all that, but since I pretty much read the material and the manga just to glance over it, I pretty much know what happened last week with the whole thing about, you know, like the whole old Fairy Tail master coming involved with it, like Manga transforming, Grey arriving into, like, you know, in Theria's form, and I gotta say, that's some shit right there. Like, absolutely, I don't know, it just looks like a Berserk design, or it looks like just like, oh, this is what Alucard would look like from like Hellsing if he actually did that kind of form or something like that. It kind of reminds me of that. I know I'm going a little bit overhyped with that shit, but I love design. Like, when you have cool ass designs, I gotta point it out. So like straight on having this like Grey and Natsu versus Manga, and Manga is just showing him the town. Each hand like that, taking them to the sky, dragging their faces in the fucking concrete, in the pavement like that. It's like, yo, Manga, teaching motherfuckers not to disrespect with him in the fucking Zeref book right now, like with a book of End. He ain't having none of that shit. I gotta say, I really fucking enjoyed that. He's going in fucking motherfucking like that. And then we got to see as well with the whole thing with like Sting and Rogue. They're like, you twisted motherfucker, like you put your own door into this. You got her like turned into a demon as well like that. He's like, what did you do to the lady like that? He's like, yo, it's like I decided to give up on a guild. It isn't now about anything to do about, you know, making a guild strong. It's about just make the individual strong. Only the individual can be strong, not other people. You relying on people is pointless and useless. I gotta say, really do respect though that they did reanimate that stuff about we actually saw, you know, with like whole thing when like Sting went nuts after he thought, you know, like Lecter was down and everything, like he thought he was dead and he punched out, and they actually did change the scene. The one reason that you can tell that it looked a lot better from what the original scene did in the actual original anime. And also as well, which I gotta give props to, they actually showed blood this time, like, and thing. I remember it was just like a clean hole, and I was like, oh, that's it. But it's like, no, this is the thing with Fairy Tail, they don't really show blood that often, but I gotta say, yeah, when you're getting a hole through your chest like that, yeah, you better be showing some blood. And honestly, like, using the, like, twin technique, like, Silk of, like, the white shadow dragon like that, that was a pretty cool technique. One thing I was like, oh my god, the attack is still ongoing as they stopped. And I was like, they kind of didn't put in that cool little move that they did in the, like, in the manga. And I was like, in the anime, and I'm like, that's kind of fine. But still, you know, that was some cool shit, and I respect it. And it was pretty goddamn hype, I'm not gonna lie. I was enjoying it, and I was like, for the fight for what it was, Sting Rogue, you did your Jewy. I mean, going back with the whole, like, Natsu going against, like, with, like, you know, Grey teaming up with him to go against Magi, like, that was some good shit. And it's like, it was even weird to see that now, like, he's got, you know, the Ice Demon Slayer powers, and he's, like, actually even doing, like our own, like, his own version of, like the Fire Dragon, we're always doing the Ice version of it. It's like, it's a bit weird to see Grey doing something like that, because obviously, like, that's just such a weird thing. That's, like, kind of like how Natsu would do it. It's like, oh, he's going to copy a Natsu, it looked like, but I remember I saw that. I was like, okay, it looks a bit weird. And he was throwing some shit on him, like, showing Yggdrasil and stuff like that on him, and it was like, yo, that ain't gonna work. And Natsu and Grey, they were really teaming up for this shit. Like, combined, there was like that one cool moment at the start of the episode where like they both went side by side, like kind of with the fists, and what they did was like, oh, one side is fire, one side is ice, you know, go back to back like that. I kind of liked. It was like, the shows like how much of the manga like is a threat. Like, it takes both Grey with his new power up, and it's taking Natsu right now to even take on this guy, and it's like, you know, that's some fucking impressive. We did see a little tiny bit more of the whole Igneel versus like Acnologia fight. Fucking he did like a seismic toss like a Charizard on Acnologia and RKO. I gotta appreciate that from Igneel. He knows some good moves going on that. Not anything real too new with their fight, but it looked cool, and I gotta say I did enjoy that. And the only thing that really took away from this episode is they were recapping the whole Urza stuff, because obviously this is still stuff in the past, and I believe at the end of this episode when he used the Memento Mori, like I believe Manga, that's where it goes back into current time. Like whilst Urza was having that fight, this was now happening there. So I believe that is there. Like, so don't, like, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's when both times they went into current time right there. And honestly, it's like, it just, why you show like the fucking Urza stuff again? And then they started showing the Urza Nakagami armor as well. It's like, don't remind people of that stuff like that. It's like, it was a bad moment. We want to get over and done with. And it's like, hey, you want to save the budget? That's it. And the only thing other that happened in this episode is that finally, like what we saw, you know, Levi, Gargiel, Laxus, Julia, all of them arrived, and then they're saying, yo, here's the blood and everything. Take care of this stuff right now and heal everyone. And it was like, you know, fine, we'll do it. Didn't see any more though with Makarov though, with like when he was actually redeeming Mela, so that's kind of leading everyone on a bit of the build-up. It's like, oh, what's he going to do with that? You know, what's he going to do? Need to know. So honestly, really looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening in the next week's episode of Fair. So I thought this was a great episode. I thought I'd give that a solid 8.5, would have been a 9, but you have to kind of remember us about the Urza stuff, so yeah, not too good on that part, but every part that wasn't recap and everything like that was great, and even that reanimated scene as well that they did from the original Fairy Tail was great, and like the fight, great, and it's like leaving you on that cliffhanger about like them getting fucked up, and it's like, yo, not gonna lie about it, but it's like, why is like Margate going nuts in the preview? So it's like, you have to think about it. You have to use the old noggin right there for that. But overall, great fucking episodes, and I can't wait to, you know, talk about next week's one. But let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this episode of Fairy Tail. But that is all from me. So thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.